All right, now, so we're all on the same page. This is called an aggressive response, where you see the dog pawing at the target. This is called a passive response, and this is a deferred response. You don't see this too much, but the deferred response, the dog is just going to freeze. He's going to freeze when he gets the target. So we've got 3 types of alerts there. Now, a lot of people don't know how the dog smells. And as Jerry said, the dog smells in color. But here's a pretty good explanation of how our dog smells.
See this pot stew? Well, humans, we see carrots, corn, potatoes, gravy. We see all these substances, but we only smell one odor, stew. A dog is just the opposite. He can't see very well. He sees in shades of gray and black, and he cannot see 3D. He sees black. So his eyesight is not good, but his nose is excellent. When a canine smells this stew, he smells corn, carrots, potatoes, gravy. So he can separate odors just like you and I separate the ingredients by sight.
I'm going to take this one step further. He's absolutely right. The dogs can separate specific odors that make up an item, but they can break it down even further. If a dog could talk, they could smell your mama's lasagna and break down and tell you every single ingredient that went into the recipe to make your mama's lasagna. The salt, the sugar, the oregano, the basil. Their nose can separate and pinpoint each individual ingredient that goes to make something up.
Now, since these dogs smell so well, the Supreme Court of the United States has given a drug dog an exception. That exception is called sui generis. It's a special exception because the dog smells so well. Now, this one here is a textbook alert. Perfect indication. Little help from the handler.
And that's exactly what you should be looking for when you get these cases that involve the canines, is that the handler, I tell people the job of a dog handler is to be a portable toy dispenser. That's it. Don't make your job any more difficult than what it is. When you see handlers stepping in and blocking their dogs with their body and making excessive amounts of presentations with their hands, telling the dog, check here, check here, check here, okay? There's nothing wrong with some presentations, but if they get to be excessive, or you keep showing the same spot 5 or 6 different times, now we have a problem. A really good dog wants the handler to get the hell out of his way and let him do what he's been trained to do. A weaker dog needs the handler to intervene.
Now,
knowing this principle that a dog can separate odors like humans see, you should be able to draw the conclusion that masking substances do not work. So, to answer the age-old question, do coffee grounds mask the odor of marijuana? Absolutely not. I had my dog alert on bricks of marijuana that were wrapped in cellophane, then layers of coffee ground, then mustard. There we go. Vanilla extract is common. Bounty fabric softeners and pepper. If we place cannabis in there, remember the stew analogy? The canine can go, oh, mustard, oh, coffee, oh, vanilla, oh, bounty fabric softeners, oh, the marijuana, and give an indication. So these substances do not work when it comes to trying to fool a canine.
now there obviously are some exceptions here. And we've had this discussion for an hour or two. Things like if you put a spice rack, allspice, rosemary, thyme, if you put that substance next to the narcotics, next to the cocaine, if the handler rushes, the dog might not have time to sift out all those sophisticated scents. Another thing we were talking about, the pepper. Tell them about the pepper.
Yeah, a very common thing that was being done with the smugglers coming across the border is they would package their cocaine, whatever it was that they were smuggling across, and then they would just sprinkle a whole bunch of red hot pepper to the outside of it, to where the dog goes in, doing their thing, sniffs, gets a snoot full of hot pepper, doesn't alert to the drugs, and reacts adversely to the hot pepper going up their nose. Now in the future, when the dog encounters a vehicle that they've done that to, the dog will refuse to go search that vehicle because he had a bad experience with that the last time. So, in effect, that dog's avoidance behavior can be seen just as much of an indication as the actual going in and searching. It was a great tactic that worked for a very short period of time, but it didn't have very long of a lifespan. Once it was figured out, it was worked around.
Now, if you watch this clip right here, some of these dogs are superstars. This dog right here is going to work off lead. He's going to work off the leash. He doesn't need any help from the handler. He doesn't need any hand presentations. He doesn't need any direction. He catches scent, a behavioral change, and he alerts, and he waits for his reward, which is very important, and we'll probably get into that later.
That was an awesome dog.
Oh, absolutely. The next question, is the narcotics team, the dog and the handler, are they effective? Well, yes.